Hey YouTube, it is League Turnover today, and there is another Great League on. We will have a Great League every week of the season. They will be limited Great Leagues for most of the weeks, but Summer Cup is on this if you want to check out top teams for this morning. But Ultra League is also on, and this Ultra League list top 20 here is basically Pokemon that have been meta in the Ultra League for anywhere between like 4 to 24 seasons now, and Pokemon that got buffed this season. So let's go over the list and let's go over some team options here. Let's go over the Pokemon that have been meta forever here. Lapras. So Lapras, a lot of people would be like, oh, it's only meta since it became Psywave. If you were around in seasons 1 through 4, Lapras in the Ultra League was meta in that time as well. But with Sparkling Aria Psywave combo, it has improved substantially. So Lapras, just with bulky, it doesn't say XL beside it. You do need a few XLs to max it out here, but otherwise, pretty accessible, cheapish Pokemon that has a lot of coverage and just is such a strong Pokemon with its bulk and the Sparkling Aria Nice Beam coverage combo there. What other Pokemon have been around for a while? I was gonna say Togekiss. We'll bank that one for a minute here. Registeel. Registeel has been meta for a long time, even before. Ever since XLs became a thing, it is level 50 and has a Focus Blast Zap Cannon. That combo is just so deadly with its bulk and with its ability to just spam these moves that do so much damage. Pretty much 2 of these moves are going to take out no matter what. And Focus Blast Zap Cannon at 15, 16 just is so strong. So between the bulk and those two, just always been top meta. And Cresselia, since Cresselia not running Psycho Cut anymore. It used to be run with Psycho Cut, but Confusion actually got buffed this season. So Confusion, Grass Knot Moonblast as the moveset on Cresselia, same sort of thing. Always been an absolute bulk that can just kind of take damage. And Jellicent. Jellicent has been a pretty meta-relevant Pokemon for the past like 10, 15 seasons now in the Ultra League. Same thing, just the XL, it's like level 50. And then the Hex is fast charging, and then Surf and Shadow Ball is just nice coverage, and both moves are pretty strong. So now you have a bunch of Pokemon that have been buffed basically over the past 2 to 3 seasons, I guess, with Feraligatr. Feraligatr is kind of like borderline. It's been relevant for like, when did it get the Shadow Claw? 5 seasons ago, something like that. So ever since Feraligatr got the Shadow Claw, it's been very, very, very strong as a safe swap. So that one's kind of an older one too. The rest of them, I would say, are within the last few seasons. Corviknight is the #1 ranked Pokemon with Air Cutter, so it plays pretty... I was going to say it plays similar as it does in the Great League. I don't even know, though. I don't think I've tested it in the Ultra League. My only worry with Corviknight is in the Great League, there are times that you can just get a bye with going straight Air Cutter and just go like 3 or 4 Air Cutters and take out there. I don't think you're going to be able to do that in the Ultra League, right? You have Pokemon that are all like level 48 to 50 here, and trying to just go straight Air Cutter is probably not going to work against these Pokemon. You'll be doing like 10 to 12% damage. So I think you're going to have to maybe rely more on the payback, which only takes 15 to get to, but just if you're going to use it, just keep that in mind and let me know how it plays if you play it. Belly Bolt, yeah, Parabolic Charge is so strong on this Pokemon, especially when it already has some bulk behind it. And the Sucker Punch, there is a lot of Psychic and Ghost in this meta, right? So you have Grumpig as a Ghost. Sorry, Dusknoir as a Ghost, Grumpig as a Psychic, Giratina. Where are you, Giratina? We'll use Giratina's Altered. This is on this list. So it will be a Ghost. You have Cresselia as a Psychic. So lots of Jellicent as a Ghost. So you have a bunch of play with that Sucker Punch there. Regidrago. Dragons have had some play in this meta for a long time. I've always liked using Dragonite, but a lot of people like using Guzzlord as the main sort of dragons. Now Regidrago, Dragon Energy is such a hard-hitting move, and it only takes 12 to get to. And now having some coverage with that Hyper Beam. I actually think Regidrago is, when it got Breaking Swipe, and Breaking Swipe essentially got nerfed. Dragon Claw and Breaking Swipe both ended up being nerfs to those moves. But what happened with Regidrago is you now took your, not a nuke, it's like 120 damage, but you took your 120 damage move that used to come at 15 turns and is now coming at 12 turns on the first, 11 on the second, third, and fourth. While instead of running 2 dragon moves that you had to bait Dragon Claw or Breaking Swipe, I forget which one it was, you had to bait the first dragon move to land the Dragon Energy. Now your bait move is your harder hitting Dragon Energy, and now you have actual cover move. If you run into a fairy, you can throw Hyper Beam. So it gives you actually some coverage now. Like, it plays way, way, way better than it has in the past because of it. And in the Ultra League, where everything's bulky, the opportunity to get to those hyper beams is probably a lot higher than the Great League. Runerigus, Shadow Claw, Rock Tomb, Shadow Ball. Again, Rock Tomb. A lot of people have been calling for that nerf for that move for a while now, but it is very, very strong. Shadow Claw, one of the best fast moves in the game. Shadow Ball, same type of attack bonus on that combo there. That combo is just deadly. It's been deadly with a bunch of other Pokemon for a while, like Trevin and stuff like that. I think that half ground typing helps out here as well. And then having just a move that guarantees to lower the attack is super, super strong. Empoleon. I guess I should mention that Empoleon was meta in seasons like 1 through 4 with Hydro Cannon Drill Peck back in the day too. But now, obviously, with Metal Sound charging super, super fast and doing some chip with that move, just makes it a very, very strong Pokemon. So yeah, it's basically like for Alligator, right? So you have your fast charging fast move, Hydro Cannon is your charge move. Your second move, Drill Peck, is like Ice Beam, that it covers some of your weaknesses. Dusknoir, one of those in the past that got buffed by Astonish like a few seasons ago. So NXL Pokemon, Shadow Punch, Astonish, nice combo there. Very attack heavy, and then Dynamic Punch just for coverage on Darks or other, Steels, but their Ghost move hit neutral against Steels, but it's mostly Darks and normal typings that would resist the Ghosts that are now being hit by a super effective Dynamic Punch. So it's a really nice combo there. Togekiss, this is one I kind of laughed at as well. It was kind of meta for a bit with Charm, but why would you use Charm when you now have Peck or Sphere combo? So very, very quick charging to a move that covers your like your Rock and your Steel weakness, and you still have Dazzling Gleam here. I know a lot of people run Psyshock in the Great League because of the poisons. I think Togekiss in the Ultra League probably should run with Dazzling Gleam, just given all the Darks and the Dragons that are here. As you can see, Regidrago's here, Galarian Moltres, Malamar, and then there's more Dragons and stuff as you go down the list. So I think Dazzling Gleam makes sense. Grumpig, another one that got buffed in previous seasons with that Psy Wave. You do get same type of attack bonus on it, so that Psy Wave really does add up. And then same thing, just cover moves. You got a really nice Dynamic Punch that got buffed a couple seasons ago as well. And then you have Shadow Ball, which is just one of the better fast moves, charge moves in the game as well. So strong there. Fortress with Volt Switch. So it's not even running that Bug Bite buff there. It is running Volt Switch, 16 turns to get to a Rock Tomb, 20 to get to an Earthquake. I think it gets by on its Bug Steel typing, because that typing only has one weakness, and that one weakness is Fire. So you're double weak to Fire, and when you're only weak to one thing, that kind of gives you a pretty big advantage, especially with all the resistances you pick up. So that is why Fortress is up there. Volt Switch, I'm guessing that Volt Switch just probably plays better in this meta than Bug. Just because, like, if you look at the top, like, 20 here, you got your Corviknight, which is your flying, you have Lapras as your water, you have Empoleon as your water, you have Togekiss as a flyer, Feraligatr as a water, so Jellicent as a water. So I think just that's probably why they're running Volt Switch, just because it has more play against the top meta of the Galarian Moltres. Right there too, as a dark flyer. So yeah, probably just has a lot more play against the main meta here. Galarian Moltres, very, very strong Pokemon. Kind of disappeared a bit in the Great League just because of all the rock buffs and the fairy buffs. Those won't translate as well to Ultra League. Whenever Niantic / Scopely, whoever it is, updates these moves, it's always done with the lens of the Great League, and then whatever happens to the Ultra League Match League, it's like they don't even like really think about it. So Ultra League, not as many rock throw users, not as many fairies. There's some fairies, but there's not as many that you need to worry about compared to the Great League. So Galarian Moltres should have a lot more play here. There is one fairy, Shadow Galarian Weezing, very, very spammy. Just getting access to that buff sludge. Not access, I think it always had the sludge, but now it's buff sludge plus a quick brutal swing, just an insane amount of coverage and very fast spamming at that. What do we have left? Malamar? Yeah, Malamar. Same sort of thing. Foul Play, I think, is a net nerf for most Pokemon, but it is a buff for Malamar, because normally Superpower is the better move. It hits better with damage per energy there, and more damage for the same energy, but it does lower your attack and defense. So having Foul Play allowing you to bait and hit for like, it doesn't hit super hard, but allows you to hit. And then being able to just spam those and not have to lower your attack and defense. And then when you want a superpower and bail, you can, sort of thing. So those are the top 20 Pokemon. Team building, you know, you got some very easy cores. You're going to see like, I've got like 6 teams here, and there's a lot of Pokemon where it kind of looks like Corviknight. It's just like some losses with a lot of wins. And I was surprised at how many Pokemon have that. So here's Corviknight. Gonna have problems with Electric being one of your, probably your main one. Electric and Fire are your 2 main ones that Corviknight's gonna have problems with. So I paired it with Giratina Altered, which will resist the Electric and the Fire. So that is why it is paired with Giratina. And then I need a safe swap, and I'm looking at the safe swaps, and not surprising, Belly Bolt with its bulk and the Sucker Punch that does well against a lot of Pokemon, plus just the Electric. I'm trying to think if there's a Pokemon that would resist both the Sucker Punch and the Electric, and I can't think of one off the top of my head. So just that combo there, you're gonna hit one for sure, and it's gonna hurt. So yeah, just a very strong Pokemon as a safe swap or a lead, or however you want to play it. Belly Bolt should be everywhere because they did not nerf Parabolic Charge. Okay, Lapras. Start with Lapras. You know, it's got some weaknesses, weak to fighting and weak to electric. So I kind of comboed that with both the safe swap and the Turtonator. So Turtonator is obviously your electric answer because it resists electric as a dragon. The Incinerate and new moveset there will allow it to kind of spam and actually hit pretty decently. And you need a safe swap, and that safe swap to cover that fighting weakness on the front is Galarian Weezing. This does make you double weak to ground in the back. Weezings have poison and Turtonators have fire. So you are double weak to ground in the back. Lapras as a water ice Pokemon will obviously deal with those. But just be aware, do you need to draw to ground? Depends what the ground is. Like if you get a Gastrodon against the back 2 Pokemon, you're probably going to have a tough time. So maybe you want to draw one of those out. But is it a must? I think you can work your way through it, but it will be tough. Okay, Reggie. Start with Reggie because it's one of the top ranked Pokemon, top ranked Dragon Pokemon. Obviously it does well against a lot of things, but where's your problems? All your fairies. Togekiss, Tinkaton, Galarian Weezing, and Clefable. So you obviously need to cover your fairy weaknesses, so I covered them twice. I covered the first one with a fire that just straight up resists fairy, and then I covered it with a safe swap of Empoleon that is also steel. So Empoleon just safe swap to deal with the fairies and ice. You're not just fairies, but fairies and ice. At least you can hit neutral with ice on the dragon. And then Empoleon and Typhlosion will cover that in the back. If you're running like a Shadow Typhlosion and a Shadow Empoleon, you may feel like this team is a little glassy, but it will give you the coverage you need if you are going to run a dragon on the front that otherwise has limited movesets. Plus some steals would cause you problems, right? Because you really don't have anything to throw at steals if you're Reggie, so having a fire in the back also is very beneficial from that perspective. Okay, another one of those Pokemon that have like just a lot of X's and not a lot of hard losses, Runerigus. And again, it's just like that Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball, or is just like a deadly combo in general. So if that is not resisted, you are just generally in a good matchup. And if it is resisted, then you still have that Rock Tomb, which because you charge at a decent pace, you can be throwing Rock Tomb 2 to 3 times and really put pressure on your opponents to get out of there, even if it's a good matchup. So you should cover your dark weakness. You should cover if you want, water and grass weakness as well. So covered all that sort of with Guzzlord. Guzzlord will resist the dark, it will resist the grass, and it will resist the water. So having that there, but then I was like, okay, then you're going to leave yourself vulnerable to ice because you're double weak to ice here. And then potentially, not that Runerigus can't deal with fairies, but I was like, let's just cover that as well with something that can deal with ice. And that is Tentacruel as the safe swap to kind of deal with that. I don't know how many people are actually going to play Ultra League. I know people like it, but you know, it's tough when you have a Great League version on right now too. Okay, Dusknoir, Credilli, Jirachi. Again, I'm just mostly, I was going to say balanced team, but this is not actually balanced team because Darks will cause you a bit of problems. But Jirachi is half steel, half... Is the secondary typing Psychic or Fairy with the confusion? Let me just check, sorry. I just want to make sure I'm not giving you wrong information. Psychic. So yeah, so Darks are going to be a bit of a problem, but it's one of those weird ones where you have so much coverage on your Pokemon that are weak to it. So Dusknoir is weak to Dark. It has a Dynamic Punch that will hit super effective against Dark. Jirachi, as a Psychic, is weak to Dark. However, its 2 charge moves that you can run Doom Desire, which is neutral, but it also has Aura Sphere, which is a fighting move, super effective, and it also has Dazzling Gleam. So even though you're double weak to Dark here, you do have enough cover in your Pokemon that are weak to it that you can just kind of deal with it. So mostly it's like, where am I going to have problems? Other places here, Jirachi, Fire and Ground. So kind of cover that with Credilli as your, like some would say, swap ground because of the grass, and then the fire can deal with the rock there. And Dusknoir, I think, is just like despite the problems that you'll see with the Dark, you can hit super effective against that. And then same thing, Ghost resists you, but you can hit super effective against that. So it just seems like a very, very safe Pokemon to use. And it spams at a pretty good pace here too. The last one here, Togekiss. Doesn't look like it has as good of a record as it does in the Great League, but if you get a package 2 advantage, maybe it will do okay. Gotta cover electric, you gotta cover ice, you gotta cover stuff that will resist the fighting moves. It's running with Dazzling Gleam, so there's a few things, maybe poisons if you're running with the Aura Sphere, Dazzling Gleam, right? So there's a few things you need to cover. I think to cover the electric and the potential poison weakness, I think Gastrodon just makes sense for a lot of those. And then the old school Registeel as a safe swap. Holy crap, look at all those wins. Not surprising. The amount of bulk that Registeel has, plus being able to like 2-shot pretty much anything with like 150 damage moves, makes Registeel a very, very, very strong Pokemon in the Ultra League. Yes, you need level 50, and I know a lot of people complain like, oh, why don't you make teams that are accessible for people? It's very tough to make teams accessible for people when the meta looks like this, right? I've done this analysis before, and some of these that don't have XLs are actually XLs. So you go from Corviknight's XL, Bellybolt's XL, Lapras is XL, Regidrago is a legendary, Runerigus is XL, Empoleon is not an XL, but you need a Hydro Cannon from the community day. Dusknoir is XL, Togekiss is not, so that's another new option that is more accessible. Grumpig XL for Alligator, community day. Registeel XL, Fortress XL, Galarian Moltres is the legendary, Weezing XL, Cresselia legendary, Malamar XL, and Jellicent XL. So make an accessible team. You can't. This is we've discussed this. This is the problem with Ultra League now, and this is why people don't play Ultra League, and this is why I don't really put out Ultra League videos anymore, because people don't play and don't watch. It's tough to build a non-XL team that can actually have play. Now, I think if you're okay with legacy moves like Hydro Cannon, you have Hydro Cannon, I think you can go, I was going to say like Empoleon Togekiss, but that makes you double weak to electric. So you need some sort of ground. But most of the grounds are XLs in this meta. It's tough, right? It's tough to team build in the Ultra League if you don't have Pokemon that are legendary, legacy, or XL. And that's just the way we are at this point in 2025 in Ultra League, and it's not changing. So you have 2 options. You get these Pokemon for Ultra League, you invest in them, you catch them, invest the XLs, guaranteed XL tradings on, and guaranteed 2 XL. I thought like the 2 XL for trading on the Sunday would just be like, you get it for your like first, you get like an extra lucky trade. I thought that 2 XLs would be for like those 2 days, like those 2 Pokemon trades. It's for all 100. So if you have some of these Pokemon sitting in your inbox, and again, some of these like Galarian, Weezing and stuff that are not as accessible to catch, but if you have some of these in your inbox Sunday, literally find anyone playing the game and trade for 2 XL candies, you will get a crap ton. I like, again, not that I'm going to use the Pachirisu, I don't have a hundo, but like I had like 50 or 60 Pachirisus from the previous 2 Go Fests that I had not gotten rid of, and I traded like all 50 of them and got like 100 XL candies because of it. So it was a great event every Sunday this season. So you have like 10 or 11 more Sundays to take advantage of it. Definitely take advantage of it. Ultra League, the extra bonus for the lucky like legendary trade for Master League, you can definitely start putting a dent in your Ultra League, Master League inventory here. So I was actually like, this is probably one of the better things that this game has done in the past like 4 years, is this guaranteed 2 times XL for trading on a Sunday. It was fantastic. Cannot rave about it enough. Go do it if you haven't. Anyways, with that, I was gonna say, let me know if you're playing Ultra League. I'm really sorry, Ultra League people. Maybe I'll do a couple Beyond the Hypes with these Ultra League people. You know what? Reggie Drago and Polion could be a pretty strong combo. A lot of people have the Reggie Drago because it was in raids, and you got like one or two from research tests. So between that and Empoleon, Empoleon weak to electric, Reggie will deal with that. Reggie weak to ice and fairy, Empoleon will deal with that, right? So those two in themselves, like I said, cover with Typhlosion. So there are a couple Pokemon I can do the Beyond the Hype combo in one here. Whether I do that or whether I just play the straight Summer Cup and then event coverage and not put out 14 videos this week, I am leaning more towards that one. But I can be convinced. Let me know in the comments below what you want to see. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.